Hey, what's going on, everybody? A little bit of an update of what we got going on, besides the humongous mess of car parts laying everywhere. Mostly my interior and Tom's stuff. So, I think the last video we did, we had all the trim off, but we got Tom's windows out and we got my windows out. So, I'm trying to think, did we get the windows? Did we do a video on the windows out of this? I don't remember anymore. I don't think we did. So this is what we got going on with the windows out. The channel isn't in hateful shape, but you can see back here on Tom's car that we got some holes right in here and in here, and we got inside the trunk and looked, and we got some nonsense that's going on here. There's all kinds of putty and stuff on the back side of this. The other side, we already welded in a patch and stuff like that. Tom already welded in a patch, and what happened was he started cutting that out and it just fell into the trunk. So if you look at what we have here, he had to make a patch from over here all the way over, because this was just a big hole into the freaking trunk that I could stick my hand into. Plus this corner here was all kind of messed up, so he made some pieces of metal and welded them all in here to make this channel solid. So
Which is the
now what we got to do is
normal area for Mopar.
Yeah, it's the normal area. So we had some he had some pinholes in here, so he welded all them up. Welded up where the emblems went. So it's coming along slowly but surely. So that's what we got going on with this. We got to do a little bit of paint work here because we just couldn't. I mean, there's just nothing you could do. You had to just get in here to try and weld all this, but it came out and it looks really nice. So a little bit more work to do in here, and then that's about it, and that's pretty much done.
Yes.
So then you got to start on the other side. So, and all the rest of the channel looks good. There's no other issues with it all around.
Yeah, the only other issue I have is in the front corner of the front
Yeah.
on the passenger side a little bit.
And
holes.
the front channel looks pretty decent. It just needs, you got to clean up the bottom down here yet, don't you, Tom? Up top it looks good.
Yeah, I haven't cleaned anything.
Yeah, he hasn't cleaned anything down on the bottom
Back in
channel.
front, I've been staying in the back.
So the problem we have over here is I think we figured out why it was leaking into the car, and there's a couple holes right in here, and once he starts cleaning that out, they're probably gonna show up a little bit better. So you're gonna have to patch these up. These are supposed to be here because that's what holds the rubber seal in. So, but yeah, we got some holes in here. I don't know how well you guys can see with the camera, but
Yeah, that's the only thing that holds that rubber seal at the bottom.
yeah, is
And
this
that's notorious for
stupid
for
thing here.
slipping when they put the glass in and causing leaks in the corner.
Yeah,
Because that's all that holds that bottom rubber in. And the glass people put them in there if they say they're prone for it moving and causing a leak in the corners.
so once all this work's done, then we can start sanding and prepping the roof for paint and everything. So, but until we got to get all this body work done, get all this stuff taken care of. This corner isn't too bad. Actually, this corner's a little bit better than that one is, isn't it? I don't know if you'll, well, there's a little issues down right down in
To
here.
me, it looks like it's the same, but I don't know.
Well, you're not going to know until you start
You
cutting
can see
stuff.
on that body film that's underneath,
Yeah.
underneath my car, underneath the trunk. In the trunk area, they put Bondo up underneath there to seal off all the leaks.
Yeah, they even did a little bit of brazing in here. Not
Yeah.
sure if that's from the factory or if that somebody did that. So evidently these windows have been out at least once before. He's gonna have to put a piece of metal over top of this because
Yeah,
this is it's a little weak right here. So just take a piece and just put it in here and just weld it down. Because it's 2 layers of metal right there, and the upper layer is what rotted away, and it's just the lower layer that's just there. So
Yeah, this
put
bottom
some,
layer is your package tray. metal.
Yeah.
And this top is
It's the Dutchman panel.
and cord panel, but the Dutchman panel is this part that's rotted out here. It's really thin, but it's easy to fix. But yeah, the package tray metal is decent.
Yeah, that's all
Never
good. Yeah.
rotted out.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, we caught this just in time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, another year or two of that top being on here, and it would have been an issue.
Yeah.
It was
Because
really.
it never leaked over there in the trunk. It always leaked over here.
Yeah. Well, they got so much goop in the trunk over there. My
Yeah, they
God.
do have
And
a
we don't know what the hell they put in there because you can't even move.
It's extremely hard. to
Yeah,
get it out.
you can't even scratch it with sandpaper. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on with Tom's car. Unfortunately, we were hoping that we weren't going to have to do a whole lot of welding and creating, but
Yeah.
it looks like we're going to have to. At least that side's done. You just got to do this side and then the front,
Yeah.
and then we can worry about getting everything else squared away.
And you gotta get these, one thing about these B-bodies, the windshield's got that, it's got a steep slope and it slopes up. So I had to make two pieces instead of trying to make one. I tried to make one piece to go in that whole entire thing, but we couldn't get the bend right. Plus that's this dip right in here. It was just hard to do. So I ended up making a back piece first, and then we made the bottom piece and just buttered them together and went along there and stitched all of it together. And then up here.
Yeah, I had to make two pieces because it's just a weird angle on how this all goes together. This piece here actually has like a little, it actually leans back a little bit and dips down, and then this kind of dips up, and it's just kind of
And the
screwy.
back glass has the same
Yeah, it has the same.
curve to
Yeah.
it, so it's got to sit down in that.
Should bring that glass up so we can test fit it after we get some of this
I haven't
done.
even cleaned it yet.
Oh, you haven't cleaned it yet?
Well, I mean, I wasn't in a big hurry to get it cleaned till I got this.
Yeah,
But you're right. Once I get both these sides fixed,
Yeah.
we have to.
we'll have to test fit it. We have to test fit that trim too.
I got to test fit the trim because there's a piece of rubber trim that when you put the package tray in and all that together, there's a piece of rubber that fits over this right in here, and then it curves around, and it hides all this when you got the car together. And we don't know how much. I may have to reduce the radius in this corner because I don't know how that rubber piece comes around. So we got to test fit that trim in.
Yeah, we kind of did that when we laid that piece in there. We kind of just cut it so that it went right across there. You cut it so it went right across there. Because what you end up doing is that we ended up making a piece of metal. We had to tie this piece in, and then we tied it into another piece here that was into the corner. And we welded that down and pounded it down. But this piece here, we might have to cut out, make a little bit more
I
rounded.
have to make more radius in
Yeah.
here for that rubber that goes inside the car.
Yeah, you might have to just cut it in a.
Yeah, we might have to make some adjustments to it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't.
We're not sure how
I'm
it's
not sure
going
how
to
that
fit.
fits down in there. Plus my other piece, that piece that goes around the top and around the side. I don't know how far down it comes. It meets this.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, because it might.
So
go
we might
down
even
here.
be in more of a
Pickle.
pickle.
Well, we'll get to that bridge when we get to it, because
Yeah.
we're gonna have to try and figure all that out. But it's coming along. It could be a lot worse.
Could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Should have been. Usually is a lot worse when you
Yeah,
with these B-body, especially these corners.
but we're doing pretty good with what we got going on here.
Yeah.
So
Call
getting
it
it patched
strong.
up. Yeah, like I said, it could be a lot worse. The rest of the roof's good. We got to just sand it down. There's no other rust. There's no rust up in the upper channels or anything. Just that surface rust we had up here, that real heavy surface rust. So that's where we stand on the Coronet. So it's becoming a stand for my interior parts. So on the Firebird, when Tom had the windows pulled on this, the guy came out and pulled the windows on mine, and they're setting up on the roof there, but the channel on mine looks pretty good too. On the back here, it's in decent shape. Everything's solid. A lot of surface rust. The only two problems I have are or right in this area here. There's some holes in here that I'm going to patch up, and I'm going to pour 15 this whole channel, and probably go up to about here. I'm going to tape it off, and then I got paint to repaint this back piece here, because this back piece is just, it's all rusty from the window leaking and everything. But everything else is good. You know, this is solid, this is solid. So the back channel here is it's in really good shape, except for the heavy surface rust. And it's funny because the window was solid. I mean, you couldn't even move it. It was tight. It still had the original, it was still the original seal from when GM did it back in '69. And the problem is that water got behind all that, and it just started to rust behind it. And it started creating issues with it rusting behind it. So, and then I dug out they had some sort of crap in here. I don't know what they had in here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to seam seal all this back together, because this was leaking into the trunk. So the other side's still pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to dig that stuff out or not. I tried to move it, and whatever they put in there is it's really solid. I mean, it's not moving at all. So I might just leave this go. I don't know. We'll see. So, and then the front channel, that's in really good shape. I was sweating it. I thought for sure the dash was going to be rotted away, but it isn't. And it is really, that dash is really solid. There is no surface rust or anything on this dash. So I'm pretty happy with that. So even the channel up there, it's the same. It has surface rust from the seal stuff. So I'm going to pour 15 this also. I'll probably go pour 15 from about here down, and then from about here up I'm going to paint this dash and stuff. So that's about what we got going on. Haven't gotten to the floor yet in the Firebird. That's going to be, I think we might try and tackle that on Saturday. I got the floor pans, they're down underneath the car there. I got the toe board and a front floor, so we can fix all that rust that's down there in the bottom on the toe board. So everything's moving along. Well, what's happening, everybody? We're back. We're working on junk. So today we are cutting the Firebird floor out. We're gonna fix the toe board and this weak front floor. We're getting ready to cut that out. Got our floorboard piece out here that we... Huh? Oh. Got our floorboard piece in here. We got all trimmed up. So we're going to start doing that. I got all the stuff painted around my... repainted all the stuff around the window channels. Did the dash, repainted the dashboard. Got that all painted since it was so faded. So all this stuff's all done. So all we got to do now is just have the window guy come out. I got to get clips. I'm missing the clips. I had to order them from the paint and body shop place. So they should be in sometime this week. As soon as they come in, I'll get them in. Call in the window guy. Get this floor in, and then we can start putting interior pieces back in the car. So that's what's going on with the Firebird. A little bit of rust repair. So Tom, he got the other side finished up over there. I think I already showed that over here. He welded some stuff in the center, but then this is what we had to contend with on the other side. Big, nice big hole. And what they did is they packed this whole channel in here on the inside of the trunk was all full of putty. So got to make pieces in here and weld them in like we did on the other side. So
yeah, finish up mine.
That should finish up the
Rot.
back. Yeah, that should finish up the rot. But yeah, this is pretty.
It's time consuming.
Yeah, I'll stay.
You gotta take your time.
Yeah, real time consuming.
Yeah, it's all time consuming to put this in. I just put my new bottom piece in this morning.
Yeah, you welded this piece in
It's all
here.
spot welded in.
Yep, this is all
I'm
done.
doing. Then I've got to trim my back piece. That's going to fit in here. just got to take your time when you're putting that in, because of this curve into this, and this dips down too. It dips in here, so you got to make your back piece. You just got to take your time and cut it, fit it in there.
Yeah, this piece kind of, it's weird. It's kind of, it dips, it kind of curves in, it dips down in. So we did pretty good on the other side. So he's got this all,
Yeah,
this corner all here is all patched up right in here. You're gonna run another piece of metal in here, aren't you?
Yeah, it's gonna come across right in here, made up for this piece here. Once I get this back piece in.
Yeah. So once this is all done, then we got to move to the front. And we got to fix this mess up in here. And we're hoping that this won't be too bad.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's solid enough I can
Yeah.
weld it. If not, I'll cut it out.
I don't know if you guys can, there you go. There's the holes. So once that's all done, then we can start sanding on this roof and getting body work done and getting it into some primer and paint and everything else. We weren't expecting to find all that rot back in the corners there, but
Yeah, we're expecting some.
yeah, not that much.
Not this much.
Yeah, they puttied it up really bad in there.
Yeah, it took a lot of cleaning out the putty just to get it clean enough to where you could see what actually was rotted out. And it was, on this side, it was more than what the other side was. Even though this side never leaked, it leaked on the other side.
You know,
It leak over here.
well, they must have smeared enough stuff in there
Yeah,
to
they
keep
had
it
it back pretty good.
from leaking away. So
And the rot was more extensive on this side.
it looks like hell, but we'll straighten it out.
Oh yeah, it looks.
It looks
Once you get all the bad stuff,
yeah.
it's all downhill.
I mean, this is solid through here. It's just
yeah,
this
the Dutchman
channel.
panel's really nice, and that's.
It's just this channel. I mean, obviously it'd have been easier
If
to
the
replace
Dutchman
this.
panel was any worse, we'd be putting a whole Dutchman
Yeah.
panel in there and eliminate this whole mess. That's the easiest way to do it, but my Dutchman panel's good, so we're
not going to be
not
messing.
going to tear it out.
We're not going to mess with all that. So, all right, we're going to get to cutting a big hunk of hole in the floor of the Firebird, and we'll start fitting some more metal, and then we'll come back to you then. All right, we're back, and we have a gaping hole in the floor where we cut out everything. Cut out the toe board. And evidently there's 3 pieces of metal that all make this all up. That's this piece in here we didn't know is a support for your cowl for that subframe bushing. So right now we're working on fitting everything so we can put it all back in the order it came out and get it all welded into place. So, but it's getting there. We have ventilation now. What do you think?
Yeah.
Ventilated. Ventilated.
Now we're at the point of taking your time and fitting it in.
Yeah.
You gotta be,
Yeah.
you gotta take your time, guys.
Yeah, really.
Don't rush to fit one of these floors in. You gotta
Yeah.
put it in there right.
Yeah, we're butt welding all this in, so.
Yeah. So you gotta.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna butt weld the main floor and the toe board. We're gonna
Board will go in first.
Yeah, the toe board goes in first. So we'll get that all trimmed out and butt weld that in. And then that lays down and we'll have to spot weld that down. And then we'll,
It gets spot welded on that.
oh yeah, we got to spot
that.
weld it on this piece right here. We got to
That's
spot
the
weld
other
it.
floor over there of the toe board.
Yeah, that's
Butt
the
welding
old.
up to that.
Yeah, we'll butt weld up to here, spot weld here,
Yep.
and then butt weld all the way around over here. And then it'll run across the bottom there, and then the main front floor then goes over top of that. Yeah, we got to trim that to fit, and then that goes down, and that goes on top of the toe board.
Yep.
And then it gets all spot welded together. So it'd be a nicer repair. It's a nicer repair when you butt weld the floors in instead of overlapping everything. It doesn't
Yeah.
look, doesn't
Yeah, once you-
it looks
yeah,
way
once you-
nicer, especially from underneath the car.
From underneath the car, once you seal the bottom, it looks nice. You
Yeah.
can't even tell it.
Just get under there.
Cause I put a whole floor in my
Yeah, you did
driver's
yours.
side like
Yeah,
that.
and we can't even tell. Throw some undercoat on it, it all just kind of
It just goes away.
blends in, so it looks a lot nicer from underneath.
But it's just, the fitting is the time.
Yeah, that's the
You gotta
time-consuming
take your
part.
time in fitting it in there. You don't want to rush.
Yeah, because you got to get it so that it's
You're
just
going to be
fits
measuring
nice.
400 or 500 tons
Yeah,
while you're cut.
while we're cutting it all up, trying to get it in there.
Got to measure a lot. And then it's just nothing but trim, trim, trim. Once you get it fitted in, it's in and you can weld it in pretty quick.
Yeah,
If you fit it in correctly. That's the main thing. And my car is a unibody car, so I had hundreds of spot welds to put back down.
well, yeah, your frame's welded. This isn't. This
Plus
is
I had
subframe.
to seam I had to make my floor fit perfect because it's the strength of the car. Where
Yeah.
yours is sitting on the chassis, it ain't.
Yeah, well, half a chassis.
It's half the chassis.
Yeah. And I think the next thing we're going to fix, I don't know if we'll get that today, but we'll see what we can do. But we need to fix this part here in this quarter panel. And it actually isn't that bad. This is all solid up in here. And it's all good right back in here. Up in here it's good. So we had to cut the floor over there. And since we have all this extra sheet metal, looks like we got a piece that'll make curve right in here real nice. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out and fix this right here. You know, obviously if you put a full quarter panel on it, this would take care of all this, because here's all your spot welds for your full quarter panel, but I don't really feel a need to put a full quarter on this if I don't have to, because all it really needs fixed here is just this stuff here, and that you can just cut this all out. I have a skin that we can go ahead and just splice in there. That's not getting done. I'm not sure when that's going to get done. After all this work, I'm taking a break. How about it, Tom?
Yeah, maybe we'll play for
Yeah, we're taking a break.
especially after my car.
Yeah, we'll piddle with stuff, but it's not going to be major projects like this. Especially when we got to get your roof done. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of work too. Yeah. So once he gets all that stuff done in the back, then we can gets the front done, then we can start hammering out this thing. Get all this body work done.
Yeah.
Get some paint on it.
Yeah, once I get all the rot fixed, once I get all that rot fixed, the roof should be not so much to get it ready to paint.
No.
Because the roof is really nice. It wasn't all warped or pounded.
Yeah. Nobody stood on it
No,
and
no,
caved it in, which is a good thing. So, okay, we're going to continue working and we'll come back to you. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, it's the next day and we're still putting the floor in. And we've got the toe board all done. So as you can see, got the toe board all welded in. We had a problem. I bought these panels, I bought them from NPD, and they're made by Spectra. And we've had Spectra stuff in the past, and we don't seem to have very good luck with Spectra stuff. So they ended up bending this one corner here wrong. If you can see right up in there, we had to, the bend was all wrong on the new panel. So we actually had to go out and get the old panel. Tom cut it and fitted it so we could have the right bend in there, because it didn't bend it right. So it caused a little bit of aggravation because we didn't have anything that was the right bend, because they bent it. What did they do? Bended it?
They bended it down.
They bent it down and
it
had to be bent up. Yeah, it had to be bent up. So that kind of threw us a little bit of a curve. So right now the toe board's in. That's all done. We got it all spot welded to where it was. So now all we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to fit the main floor piece that goes in the gaping hole here. So we're going to go ahead and do that and get that all trimmed up and get that in. So we got to really take our time and get it to fit real nice.
Take your time.
That's what it's all about. You got to take your time so you can get it fitted real nice, and then you go ahead and you butt everything in. And then once that's done, that's pretty much the end of it. For the floor, that's all fixed. So Everything else is good. So it all seems to be going pretty good so far. This is just the last thing we need to do.
Yeah, after getting the toe board fitted in there and addressing that huge hole that we had because they bent it wrong, it welded up pretty quick. I mean, because we had it in there fitting perfect. We didn't have huge gaps to bridge, and that's the thing. You just got to take your time and trim it, fit it. You're going to be measuring and fitting, and it takes longer to fit one of these in than it does welding it in, because if you fit it in there right, you can just buzz along there and stitch weld that thing up pretty quick. And you want to stagger your welds. You don't want to. You want to go back and forth on each side of the floor so you don't warp it. So you don't just continuously weld on one side of the floor all the way till you're done. You want to swap back and forth and let things cool down so you don't warp. You can warp this metal if you get it too hot on one side.
Yeah, it's like doing a quarter panel. You gotta bounce back and forth, even though it's in the floor, and it doesn't really matter if it warps up. The problem you run into is if you get too much heat in one area, it'll lift in another area, and then you won't be able to get your butt weld right. And then you're pushing and bending and hammering.
Yeah, you're hammering, trying to get the warpage out of it.
Beating the piss out of it, trying to get it right.
These floor pans are pretty thick. I would say there's probably about 16 gauge, but they're just don't take much heat to warp them. You only want to do about an inch a stitch, and then you want to jump to the other side and do an inch a stitch, and just every inch on both sides, and just keep staggering your welds around that floor, and it won't warp on you. Because it can pull enough that it'll break your tack. It'll just pull that hard, and you'll pull your tacks all out, and then you're going to be hammering and beating, swearing and carrying on, because now you got your floor all warped.
Can't get it back together.
Yeah, once it starts warping, it's hard to get it back.
I think we're gonna get this front floor in here, and we'll see how froggy we are. We're gonna try and address this situation here. Like I said yesterday, we're gonna try and cut this out.
I'm concerned about that insulation in there.
Yeah.
That they got in that thing.
I wonder if we can take a razor and just cut it.
We might, once we cut out the bad stuff.
Yeah, because we can't weld.
I mean, even if we can't put it back in.
Yeah, there's like a foam they put in here. It's all spongy, and I guess it's just for sound deadening and stuff like that, but it's going to create some issues if we tried to weld it. It'll probably just catch on fire and burn.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't want to burn the car.
We don't know how bad that stuff will burn.
That's for sure. So that's what we got going on now. We're doing the floors, getting them in. So once we get this stuff done, and then we'll bounce back to this fine quality piece of machinery. I can't even say the word.
Chris has to force himself to say the cool word.
Mopar. The cool word. Oh God. The cool word. Yeah. I really don't hate Mopars, folks. I really don't. I just like making fun. So, all right, we're gonna get back at it, and we'll come back to you when we have something done or some sort of progress. Well, we're back.
Pretty floor.
And our floorboard is all done. So we got her all in. Do some seam sealing. I'll probably put some 415 on it. Keep it from coming back, but it's in. Good and solid. So pretty happy with it. It looks really good.
It come out nice.
Yeah, it did. So yeah, well, it took us several hours to get it fitted in here, but I mean, that's usually just how it goes.
Yeah, the floor wasn't bent all that.
No,
It wasn't bent good.
no, the floor wasn't bent good either, as we come to find out. That was just as bad as the toe board.
Yeah.
So we had some issues with that we had to contend with. So again, more of that quality Spectre stuff. And I'll tell you, those floors weren't cheap either. I think it's $86 for that big section, It was $68 for that toe board. Yeah, it was not cheap at all.
No, we would thought it was
So
doing better. Yeah.
that's probably why everybody puts a full floorboard in.
Yeah.
But then you got to take this big brace out.
Yeah.
That's your floor brace. You got to pop the spots out of that, pull that all out. All those full floors come with all that crap now.
Yeah.
That shit's all there now. It looks good. We didn't open up our plug because the plug that I had was rotted away anyway, so we don't really feel much of a need of opening it up. If we need to, we can put a plug in it, but
Yeah, you can always come back to
I'm
it.
not really too worried with it right now. Just got to get underneath the car and undercoat.
Yep.
So, and I guess our next attack is going to be
Corner.
our freaking hole down here that we pulled a big ball of foam out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cut that out.
we'll start farting around with this, trying to get that done.
I should be able to fix that right.
So,
If it cooperates,
yeah, if it cooperates.
should be able to pop that in there pretty quick.
So,
Then you're ready to seal this hole up.
yeah, I'll get ready to seal it. I got to get in here and clean it all up and get all the rust and shit and stuff off. Get the seam sealer out, start seam sealing all this stuff. You know, pour 15 everything and
Yeah, these new floors come with some kind. It has some kind of oil treatment on it.
yeah, it has
Rusting heavy on it.
yeah,
Gotta
oily.
get that off before you can seal it.
Yeah, yeah, it was all
Stuff it.
oily. Yeah, it had all kinds of oily stuff. I had to wipe it down before I painted it yesterday. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to conclude this video of us putting the floors into the Firebird. So, next video is probably going to be big and green.
Back on this
Why do you think it's cool?
because it is. It's a robot.
That doesn't mean it's cool. It's a Pontiac.
Yeah.
This is cooler. So we're gonna work on. He's gonna work on getting this hole patched up back here in the back, and I'll probably start assembling.
Yeah, I've
some
already laid my first
interior
piece
things.
in and put the spot welds in. And then all I do is put my back piece in and stitch it all up, and she's ready to be put back together.
Yeah.
Well,
We got to do the. We got to paint it. We got to fix the front up here too. So.
yeah, we got front issues.
So next video is going to be Coronet and probably more Firebird with maybe hopefully interior assembly. So, all right, that's going to be it for now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Back here with you with some updates on what we got going on. So, Tom got everything all 415'd and the channels all done. Everything's all welded in. Got the front done too. So that's all done. So next step is we got to start sanding on the roof. We got to fit the glass to make sure that's going to fit okay. And we got to fit the trim and stuff like that. But we had a little bit of a setback. Tom was filling in. He was welding up. There's like a big seam right in his here, and he built that all up with weld so that we wouldn't have to putty so much. And the car caught on fire. So Tom was here trying to push the car out by himself and hose the car down to try and put the fire out. So ended up catching, what did it cut the, it caught this paper on fire.
Yeah.
And then it caught the cardboard on fire.
No,
Oh no, it just caught the paper.
I had cardboard. I should have took the paper out. I should have never left the paper in. But I left it in. I put 2 big cardboard in the front, and then I laid 3 layers of welder's blankets in this area where I was welding, because I was welding this A-pillar. So I laid the welder's blankets here. And then I filled all this in, and I walked away from the car and was cleaning off this tools and stuff, I was going to fill in some staple holes up underneath the top of the, right on here in the roof that had some staples in there that held the vinyl top on.
Yeah, from the factory, what they do is they staple, I guess they stapled the, up in the channel here, they put staples in to hold the original top, so there was like little holes here after he pried the staples out.
Yeah, there was 3 staples that were here. So I was clearing off from doing the A-pillar, and I was going to fill these holes in up here. I stepped over to the bench, put some tools down, and I turned around and saw something smoldering, and I assumed it was the welder's blankets that caught something on it. So I came over and took the welder's blankets off, and here in the corner of a piece of cardboard had caught fire a little bit. So I got ready to pull the cardboard off and put the cardboard out, and the daggone thing caught that paper on fire, and when it did, this paper just went up like a match. Had my headliner pulled back, it was hanging about right here, and the paper fell in and caught the headliner. The insulation on the headliner caught the headliner on this side of the car, and then the whole headliner went up like a matchbox.
Yeah,
and
caught this insulation in here too, and that went up.
Yeah.
So, and then
The paper just fell into the car on fire.
Got a little bit of the seat down here.
Yeah, a little small seat.
And
Or it
then,
dripped off the headliner.
and then it actually melted the one defrost duct up on the dash, and it actually singed the paint on the dash a little bit and torched the headliner. So you got the hose out and started hosing it.
Yeah, I just grabbed the hose and put the car in neutral. The door was already up. Put it in neutral, started pushing the car out as I was hosing in blowing the hose up, water up in the headliner, and pushed the car out of the garage because I was afraid I wouldn't get the car out and it was just going to catch the whole garage on fire. So I pushed the car out. By the time I got the car almost halfway out of the garage, the fire went out. I had to fire her out, but she was still smoldering pretty good. But I got her out, and it was just, after cleaning the car up, it wasn't as bad as it looked. It was really bad. Right before Chris come home, it was really bad looking in there.
Yeah,
I thought the seats, the dash, everything was all burned up.
I come rolling up and I thought, oh, Tom pushed the car outside to blow it off or something. Well, I come walking down, he's out here mopping the floor because he had water everywhere, and I see the headliner on the ground and it's all burned up and charred and it smelled like smoke in here, and I thought, what the hell happened? And then he was telling me, thank God you're okay and nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
Man.
It was smoky. I mean, it was a real lot of smoke. The wind was blowing in the door, so it took all the smoke back into the garage. So the smoke was just rolling out of the garage as the car was outside the garage. But it could have been more worse.
So
This car's got over half a tank of gas in it.
yeah,
So, I mean,
I got 3/4 of a tank in the Firebird.
so we had a lot of gas to.
Yeah, plus all the chemicals and,
All the
nonsense,
chemicals in
and then
there.
the welding gas, and yeah, it wouldn't have been good. So
My 40-some years of welding, that's the first car I've ever caught on fire. That was my own. I never caught a car on fire, but I've done a lot of cars. And I just should have took the paper down. I should have never left that paper up there, but I didn't want to try to keep as much debris out of the car as much as possible.
yeah, because grinding and everything, but
But it went through that whatever
Yeah.
fell. I mean, it
You
went
could
through
see.
3 welder's blankets before it got to that cardboard.
you could see where it's still kind of singed in spots and stuff and black from. It still smells like burned up stuff in here, but
Yeah.
it's not too bad. He got it. We got it outside, and he let it dry out and got it all cleaned up and everything. So.
Yeah. I didn't get no water in the dash. I didn't hurt nothing in
No,
the
the
dash.
dash pad didn't get it.
No, dash pad didn't get burnt. Nothing.
His steering wheel cover did.
My steering wheel cover on the top got it.
Yeah, that thing's all,
I'll probably have to pull that off.
That's all screwed up. yeah. But yeah, it's all, I don't know how good you guys can see it. It's all burned up and shit. So, it only got a little bit of the seat, and it was just stuff from falling down because this damn insulation just went up. You can see right here where it's still some black shit there. charred.
And the vent duct. Well, you can't even see it.
You
with
can't see
paper.
the vent duct, but yeah, it's melted. I only singed a little bit of the paint on the actual painted part of the dash, but it didn't get to the dash pad.
No.
Thank God.
That's
So
surprising.
it could have been a lot worse, but it didn't. You know, the carpet
And the heat
survived.
wasn't hot enough.
Yeah, it didn't hurt the roof.
Didn't buckle the roof.
Didn't hurt the roof or anything, but that damn insulation that's up under here, and then that dried out freaking, headliner just went up.
40-some-year-old headliner.
Yeah, well, I think this insulation was probably more what went
Yeah.
up. That shit goes up like a freaking, that's like kindling.
Yeah, it was surprising how fast that burned.
Yeah.
Really, I mean,
Yeah.
before I could get the water hose on it, it had already burned back to here.
Yeah,
And it was already almost across the car, but it was mainly right over here, but it was already halfway over to the other side of the car by the time I started putting water on it.
so the insulation, or the headliner wasn't good to begin with, so
No,
now it's just gone.
Yeah, that's just
So, but we're moving along pretty good here. All this is pretty much done. Now we just got to start body work and everything, and no more welding, so we won't have to worry about catching things on fire, thank God.
Yeah, nope, all the levels.
So, he's got the channels all done. They all came out real well, look real good. So, now we can start working on, we're going to have to do a little bit of paint touch up in this area. We got to start sanding the roof, grind all this putty out of here and refill it and do stuff. Oh yeah,
Over.
there's this seatbelt that got torched.
Yeah, these are cross belts. They hang up in
Yeah.
here. That's what's left of them.
That one got fried pretty good.
Yeah, this is the passenger side. The driver's side's not so bad. It can actually be
Cleaned it up, put it back
fine
in.
in there.
So, moving along pretty good. So, that's all we got left to do is just get this roof sanded, start prepping that, get it prepped with paint, and get some green so we can touch up some spots,
Yeah.
and then put the interior back together.
Yeah, it shouldn't take much longer now.
No, not at all. All the major welding is all done on this thing. So,
Yeah, all the major repair work's done.
yeah.
Especially that back channels. That's all new metal now.
Yeah, that's all brand new stuff now.
new
That's
stuff
all
put back there.
all welded in. This is all solid. It's all good, ready to roll. So hopefully get all this done. We won't have any issues with leakage or stupid crap going on with water running in. So that's where we are with the Coronet. So, and then the Firebird, got all kinds of stuff done on this. Got the back all done, got the speakers in, package tray in. Ended up getting the back seat all done, back panels, door panels. Got that all in. That's all cleaned up. There's the carpet my wife cleaned up. The front isn't that great. The back looks alright. We put a radio in it that I don't want to talk about because that was a miserable. It was a good idea in theory, but the execution of it was really bad. It was just hard to get it in, and we had to we spent more time with this. We spent all day trying to get this box in here to work. Took half an hour to wire it up and a whole day to get this box to work. And most of the biggest problems we had with it was actually mounting the radio in it and getting it secure enough and being able to get to everything, because the radio box had to go in first, and then we had to put the radio in and screw that in. And then we didn't have long enough screws for some reason. We couldn't get them down through the floor. So it was a lot of work, but we got it in. I think it came out real good with the way it looks, though. It works. Looks sort of kind of factory. So got that all done. So that's all done. Now we got tunes in it. Now we can listen to the radio and CDs. So, and it's Bluetooth and everything. The next thing I did is I put a dash cap. Put that dash pad up there in, And then we started looking at what you had to do to get this dash pad out. And it, from about the middle, from about here over, it wouldn't have been bad. From here over, we would have had to take everything, all the wiring and cluster and everything out, and I just didn't feel like messing with any of that. Just a lot of work trying to get the cluster out, disturbing all the wiring and everything. So, I got this from MPD, and it's made by a company called Dash Cap. It's like a real thin ABS plastic that they mold, and it was $128. So I thought, well, I'll get it, and we trial fit it, and it fits on there real tight. So I painted it and with some vinyl paint, and we went ahead and glued it on. And I'll tell you what, it's actually really, it looks really good. I mean, if you're not really looking, you can't tell that it's an actual, you know, like an actual dash cap. I mean, you can see spots where it doesn't look original, but for the purpose of what I want, it works just fine. And it really just made the whole interior. This dash pad was so bad that they tell you to cut where cracks are at if they're raised up, so I actually started cutting when I put the razor blade in. The dash pad just disintegrated. It just crumbled because it was so bad. So we trimmed that all down and sanded everything and put the glue on and stuffed her in. I said to Tom, I said, you know, as bad as the original one was, the one up on the hanging up there isn't much better, and we probably would have had the same issue with what we had putting it in. It probably just would have cracked. So I think this was a better viable option. Now I know they make aftermarket dash pads for these things, but the problem with the aftermarket ones is there's a metal piece on the original ones that this cluster screws up into, and the aftermarket ones don't come with that. Why, I don't know, but they don't. So this is what I went with, because I just figured, well, you know, 128 bucks, you can't go wrong. We'll see how it works. I mean, for now, it's on here, it's solid, it's real tight, it won't come off. I mean, it's on there good. So we're hoping that's going to last. So it's a yet to be seen type thing. So we'll see. So I'm pretty much ready to roll today. I'm going to put the rest of the interior together and get that all done. I did get my seats back. There's the seats there. I want to shout out to Mike Shawley. He did a real nice job of redoing the seats. So they're all done. The vinyl color's off a little bit, but not much. But what do you want? Everything's 50 years old. So this should look pretty good. So that's what we got going on with the Firebird. So I painted where we patched up down here. I painted that. So basically just assembling everything. I'm kind of hoping to get the windows in this week and pretty much be done with this whole part of the car. Kind of doing my restoration backwards, Tom.
Pretty much.
Got nice interior on a ugly car. So all right, I'm gonna get to work, start putting stuff back together, and I'll bring you back then. Well, we're back, and we got everything together. Seats are in. It's all pretty much done. There's some small details I need to clear up on the stuff, some wiring and stuff I need to tuck up and fix, but other than that, it's pretty much done. It's all back together. So I'm going to call the window guy tomorrow, and hopefully he can come out sometime this week and we can get the window in. And once that's done, then that should be it. So pretty much buttons up the Firebird for now. That's going to be about it for this car for now. I need to take a break off of this thing. So I got stuff I want to do to the Chevelle, and then we got to get hammering on Tom's car here, get this thing done. So he's taping everything up so we can start sanding and stripping the roof and everything else on it. So So that's going to be about it for now. Like I said, the interior's all done. Radio works good. So, alright. Making this car pretty nice for you, Mark. You'll be pretty happy with it when you finally get a hold of it. So, that's going to be it for me. And we're out.